regular scheduled meeting of the Vestavia Hills Board of Education will come to order. The first order of business is to approve the agenda as seen on the screen. Do I have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Second item is to approve the minutes that were distributed in advance. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Awesome. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's approved.
All right, our first recognitions are a group of distinguished folks that work in our schools every day to keep our books in order. That's a pretty important job. Ms. Brown's going to introduce them for us.
Good afternoon. All 9 of our school bookkeepers plus our central office bookkeeper just recently graduated from the Alabama Association of School Business Officials Local School Financial Management Certificate Program. This program is offered through the University of Alabama's College of Continuing Studies, and this year-long program provides the bookkeepers with advanced training in accounting, school law, budgeting, financial reporting, and use of technology and financial management. Ladies, if you'll come up front when I call your name. Lisa Bunn, West Elementary. Ginger Golden, Dolly Ridge. Lisa Greer, Vestavia High School. Helen Hickman, Pizitz Middle. Cricket Justice, Board of Ed. Amy Smith, Vestavia High School. Laura Shepard, East Elementary. Amy Torbert, Liberty Park Elementary. Deborah Walker, Vestavia High School. And Joe Wood, Cahaba Heights. So I just want to tell you a little bit about the program. It is offered to provide professional growth opportunities for them to carry out their responsibilities of their bookkeeping position, to gain additional knowledge and understanding about their role, to promote best practices within the educational administration and provide a network to share ideas and experiences, and to promote the highest professional and ethical standards of school business management practices. And upon completion of this program, they will each have to do 9 hours of continuing education to keep their certificate. And so these ladies have worked really hard for this, and I'm really glad to work with them. They do an outstanding job for our school system, and they keep us having good audits every year. So. Thank you all.
Right. Recently, Keith Price, who is our Director of Technology, finished completion of a certificate that he is now a Certified Technology Education Leader by the Consortium for School Networking, and that's a national technology association. I would like Keith to come on up and to elaborate a bit on what it takes to get there, because he's one of 18 in the state of Alabama, 18 people in the state of Alabama who hold the certification, which is outstanding. So tell us a little bit about what you just went through to
Thank you.
get through this.
The Consortium for School Networking is a group that made up of members who serve the role of technology district leader or CTO for their district. And there's a certification that they develop to validate the skills that it takes to be an education technology leader, and it's comprised of a course and then testing in that course, so that it actually validates that you learned it and are qualified to receive their certification. So there's a 80-question test at the end of this course that you have to take. It's one of those multiple, A, B, A or B, not A or B, all those kind of questions, scenarios. And then after that, there's a 7-day period where you can answer 4 essay questions. So I feel like I went back to college again and filled out long essay questions, and then that was graded over a period of a month. And then I was notified last week that I received that certification. So very honored. So like Dr. Freeman said, it's a small group of peers in the state. There's only 560 in the world. So it's an international organization, so really honored to be a part of it.
In March, Keith's going to bring to you a report of all things technology, because it's really very fascinating what is going on behind the walls of our school the last year and a half that he'll get to share with you, and things that are upcoming, because there are a lot of things going. And I can assuredly tell you that we could not have gotten there without his leadership. So I appreciate it. This is well deserved, well earned, obviously. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Board, we have a great friend of our school system with us tonight, Senator Jabba Wagner's back there hiding in the back. And I asked him to join us because we're going to brag on him just a little bit more in a little while for some things he's been doing to help us with our second goal. So thank you, Senator Wagner. Kimberly, see you as well. Thank you for joining us this evening. All right, let's move into financial statement. Ms. Brown.
I provided the November 2019 financial statements and check register for your review. As of November 2019, we have collected 12% of our budgeted revenues. Our local tax revenues are coming in slowly so far compared to our 14% that we had collected this time last year. But our total expenditures for November 2019 are at 17% of budget, and we were at 18% at this date last year. So that, we're doing better as far as expenditures go. All board bank accounts have been reconciled as of November 30th, 2019.
Okay, Board, I recommend the approval of the financial statement for November 2019.
Per the superintendent's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Consent items, I recommend the board approve consent items, which are out-of-state overnight trips by the debate class or the debate team all over the continental United States.
All I still think we need to do site visits on some of these boards. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
New business, recommend the board approve change order number 13 with the Blaylock Building Company Incorporated in the credit amount of $2,565 for renovations for a new middle school package B building additions and renovations.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. A motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And just for clarity, anything that is a change order that costs is Patrick, anything that is a
That's right.
credit is you,
It's taken
correct?
13 of these to get
To get one, that was a...
So anything you want to add on this one?
Just, no.
Any questions? Since Dr. Martin has all the answers. All in favor? Aye.
Item B, I recommend the board approve the bus purchase as submitted.
For the superintendent's recommendation, do we have a motion to approve? So moved. Second?
Second.
I will say personally that people ask what I've wanted to do on the Board of Education, and I tell them the most shocking piece of information I've discovered is how much a bus costs.
Yes.
And it is
This
crazy
particular-
expensive for a bus.
This particular bus, you just give them a little description of the size of it.
It's a 20-passenger A-class bus, so this will be used for exceptional education.
Okay, very good.
Air conditioned, all the things that go along
Camera
with it.
system on there as well, yes.
I do want you to know that this is the first of back-to-back months that we'll bring to you some information about buses. We have developed what we believe is a good long-range plan for renewing our fleet. Interesting thing about our fleet is while we do not have, but I think 6 or 7 routes that we run during the day, our activity trips far surpass those miles. And so we need buses. And while we don't get reimbursement for those buses from the state, they're equally important because our kids are traveling all over the place. So we'll bring to you in January a report about that and some additional recommendation with regards to additional purchases of buses. Aaron?
Any questions?
But we're not putting buses to get kids to and from school.
That's right.
Are you recommending that?
I am not. I want to make that very clear.
No.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Thank you. Personnel, I recommend the board approve the personnel actions as submitted.
For the superintendent's recommendation around personnel, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? Nope. All in favor? Aye.
Okay. Administrative reports, no business to give you under item A, so I'll move right on to item B, which is our strategic plan goal 2 update. I asked Dr. Rainey to give you an update on what we've been doing this semester in Goal 2. She's got a good presentation ready for you.
It's difficult for me to stand behind this podium. I like to stand out front and use my hands. Tonight we're going to be talking about goal number 2. But in order for you to really understand goal number 2, I think it's important to talk about the process. And so even though tonight we're going to be taking a deep dive into goal number 2, I think it's important that you know we have 3 goals, 3 district goals. And these 3 goals were developed through our strategic planning process. And the first goal, if you will, is about teaching and learning. And my mind thinks in pictures. And so I think about a brain because it's the goal that really captures where we want to go and what we want to do with our academics. Our second goal, the one we're going to talk about tonight, is goal number 2. And it's our social and emotional learning goal. And this goal, when I think about the picture that it represents, it really is the heart of things. We understand that we can't accomplish goal number 1 unless we do a good job of goal number 2. And finally is our goal number 3. And goal 3 addresses the processes and procedures. And so when I think about this goal, the processes and procedure are like the vehicles that allow us to move goal 1 and goal 2 forward. So now tonight, as we think about goal number 2, we're going to look at goal number 2 and break that apart to give you a good understanding of what goal number 2 addresses. And then we're going to look at pictures of success. And pictures of success is in the strategic planning process, the group that came together, and we had a large group that came and met and really worked together to craft these strategic planning goals. And there were pictures of success that were developed. And those are what you would expect to see if you were doing a good job, if we're doing a good job of addressing goal number 2. And then also our current reality, we're going to look at that. And then the centerpiece there with all the colored hands kind of represents our action team or our design team. There's a smaller group of community stakeholders involving administrators, counselors, teachers, as well as community leaders that come together and meet with Dr. Freeman on an ongoing process, looking at all the components of goal number 2. And so on that design team, when we come together, the purpose is to identify gaps and identify opportunities. And then that kind of informs our action steps. And so our action steps is when we look at the people, programs, and professional development that we could change or do better in that area to move goal 2 forward. Because as you will see tonight, we are doing a lot in the area of goal number 2, but we know there's so much more that we can do. So goal number 2, this is it, embrace our leadership role. We understand as a district that we need to take a leadership role in this process in developing a common understanding and a shared community support for confronting the problems and challenges that impact not only the system, but youth and families. So this really is a goal that takes a collaborative, collective effort, not only from the school system, but our community partners. One of the pictures of success is the system implements effective practices for maintaining positive adult-student relationships. And in reality, these are some things that we have in place. Pirate Pals, youth leadership, the high school, student leadership opportunities, student peer helper groups and support groups. Another picture of success is students have an appropriate balance of academic and extracurricular responsibilities. And so when we look at goal number 1, the design team for goal number 1 will, with goal number 2 in mind, be thinking about those practices that we have in place, such as our grading practices and our homework policy, those type of things, because we know that it's important if we're really thinking about students' emotional well-being, that there should be a balance. And so we want to make sure that we have a balanced, comprehensive approach when we are addressing the needs of our students. This is another reality. We have 9th grade advisory, character education, development, and planning. We have principal, assistant principal lunches with students, and drug testing for extracurricular participation. And we have a new component to that this year, and I'll talk about it a little more when we get into partnerships, but we're really excited about what we've been able to offer this year for that. Another thing that we're doing, we have monthly community newsletters, the annual reports, board meetings where we recognize students and employees, our websites, our social media, our Blackboard, mass notification, mobile apps, and our parent-teacher conferences. Another picture of success. So when we think about goal number 2, we know that we're doing a good job or we're addressing the goal if the system confronts the challenges of mental health and well-being of students. And we know that across the nation, this is something that people are looking at. I'm so thankful to not only work in the system, but have a child in the system where this is such a priority. And so, what are we doing? Again, we have board meetings where we're recognizing our students, letting them know we care. Our website celebrates students. We have mobile apps, parent-teacher conferences, our social media. We have analytics and metrics to make sure that people are actually able to receive the communication that we're sending out. We have preventative health information, counselors in all of our schools that have lessons addressing student needs. We contract services with BCBAs who come in and help create behavior plans and help train us on how to address those behavioral needs that really sometimes feel like they're out of the scope of what a teacher is equipped to handle. We have behavior plans that help us address those unique behaviors. We have monthly community newsletters and again, annual reports. Another picture of success would be the system implements effective character education practices that emphasize, among other things, the importance of interpersonal skills, appreciation for diversity, and inclusion and respect for others. Some things that we have in place is our life skills training, our child abuse awareness and prevention, suicide prevention, student support teams, powerful conversation network school teams, the Jamari Terrell Williams Bullying Act. We have a new form that makes it easier for families and students to report when they've been a victim of bullying. We have our CI3T and the screeners that accompany the CI3T process, and then we have Hope Institute school teams. And so all of these allow us to address the social and emotional learning aspect of what students deal with when they come to us in school. Another thing, we have special education services. We're making sure that we're addressing the unique needs of all of our children. We have the Help the Hills website that informs parents of special opportunities that we have to offer. We partner with our mayor on with the Freedom from Addiction Coalition, where we participate in those meetings to really help us stay informed and connected. And then chamber luncheons, and this picture actually is a picture from not long ago where our superintendent actually played for our Pizzitz Girls Choir. It was a nice treat.
Depends on who you ask.
Another picture of success would be that the system is a safe environment for learning and growing. And when we think about that, what do we do? What do we have in place? What is the reality? We have safety assessments. We have the parent awareness meetings, making them aware of how to keep their children safe. For example, not long ago, we had our social worker address the issues of social media and how to keep your children safe, not realizing that some of the games that the elementary children are playing in actuality is social media. And so we do that. We have school resource officers in each school. We have nurses in all of our schools. We have system audits for facilities and processes for safety. and we have regular drills with first responders. Another picture of success would be student voice is a priority in assessing the success of the goal number 2. So we have student support teams, we have student-led conferences, again, CI3T, because CI3T is like a safety net. It's one little piece that when you partner it with what we're learning from the Hope Academy that we partner with Sanford University, as well as the Powerful Conversations Network through our partnership with the Alabama Best Practices Center. When we put all of that together, CI3T has screeners that allow us to be able to screen every child K-12. And what that allows us to do is it's like a safety net that allows us to capture children that we might miss, that might not be on our radars. Those screeners, they look for things like, or they don't look for things, but they measure things such as if a student is lonely, if a student is not participating in groups, if a student is withdrawn, if they're anxious, if they're aggressive. And the screeners look different from elementary to middle and high school. So when you put all those things together, it allows us to get a good, true picture, not using one piece of data, but multiple perspectives, multiple data to be able to appropriately address the needs of our students. We also have ongoing professional learning with teachers. We have the Aaron's Law and the Jason's Flat training that we provide our employees. And those Aaron's Law and Jason's Flat, that is child abuse prevention and suicide prevention. We have immunizations provided in the school setting, home visits, and then we have non-punitive vision school, a place for students when they're in middle and high school, if they need an alternative setting. If sometimes we have students who are too anxious to really flourish at the high school. And so those students might be a candidate for our non-punitive vision, which allows them a safe, small space to go and receive their instruction. Another picture of success is students are active participants in supporting the well-being of their peers. This was amazing at the high school just last week. The students raised $56,575 for Addie's Army. And that to me is such a testimony of our students giving back and service learning and them helping their peers. Some other things that we have Career Day at the elementary and middle school, student mentoring programs, the Academy of Craft Training, service projects such as the one I just mentioned, and Help the Hills student team. Another picture of success would be there are understood roles of how family, mental health, stress, and other factors impact student wellness. We know that when a child comes to school, there are certain things that, certain needs that have to be met if we're really going to be able to have them learn in a way that they can absorb the information. And so it's important for us all to be aware of that and have things in place and that our teachers and our administrators are trained on how best to address these issues. Many times, you may not hear CI3T when you walk into a school, or you may not hear Hope Academy when you walk into a school, or you may not hear Powerful Conversations Network. But I'm sure that when you walked into some of the schools, you've heard Safe and Happy Heights, or you've heard the West Way, Courtesy, Respect, and Responsibility, the Best Way. I can almost quote these because they are so prevalent in the schools. The Rebel Edge at the high school, our Liberty Leaders, are the Golden Rule and the Friendship Initiative at East. This is the motto or the phrase that each school has that really captures their plans for what they're doing in the area of social and emotional learning. Another picture of success Community partners sustain a continuum of support through their individual missions. And I think this one is so important because through all of our partnerships, each group has their own mission. And so when we come together, we are coming together with one goal in mind, even though we have unique and different missions. So when we think about our partners, we have our foundation, our PI partners, our PTOs, the Chamber of Commerce, our PTO Council, and our local churches. Another picture of success would be the system's communication strategy facilitates dialogue among community partners. And a wide range of platforms and events are employed to communicate. The system has access to and employs analytics on the efficacy of our messaging. So when we think about that, what are we doing in that area? What is our communication plan? Because we may be doing a lot of good things, but if we're not communicating that so that people understand what we're doing and where we can come together in a unified effort, then we won't accomplish very much. And so when we think about our communication plan, we have the addition of video communication strategy. We are assisting Help the Hills with their communication plan and the information they're putting on their website. We have a new partnership with the Vestavia Hill Police Department in the creation of centralized crisis and those procedures that would accompany and help us to address a crisis. The addition of the SMORE newsletter, and then we are creating a teaching channel. We also have board meeting recognitions and school recognitions. Another picture of success would be a common body of information exists for community partners. So it's important for us to come together and have shared information. The system adjusts its practices based on changing context. And sometimes that one's hard because most people don't really like change. But we have to embrace change if we really, truly want to meet the needs. Another picture of success is students recognize devotion, care, and encouragement from staff. Students demonstrate character and interpersonal skills that equip them for success after they leave school. And that's important because we're not here just to meet the need for today. We really want to make sure that what we're instilling in our children, that they can take those skills and go on to be successful and have opportunities. And also, another picture of success would be if we see students who want to be at school and attendance is valued. Not just because it's the law and you have to be here, and we have an attendance officer who is going to enforce it if you're not. We really want students to want to be at school, and we do that through engaging them in extracurricular activities and giving them opportunities to be able to be involved in service projects. And so that is another picture of success. And then we think about professional learning. So if all these are pictures of success and some of the things we're doing, we know that there's this piece that we need to learn and grow as well. So for our professional learning, we are partnering with the Alabama Best Practices Center, and every single school in our district has a school team that's attending the Alabama Best Practices Center with the Powerful Conversations Network, and they're utilizing the book, All Learning is Social and Emotional. Also, we partner with the Hope Institute with Sanford. And the Hope Institute, they partner with school leaders to cultivate character development. Because we know that good character is essential to success in life. And the Hope Institute, their mission is through our schools, students receive love in a culture that builds character, which leads to hope and flourishing life. So the three things that the Hope Institute that we're a part of, every one of our schools has a school team that participates in this Hope Institute. The three big pieces are love, character, and hope. When we have an integrated social and emotional learning component, these are some of the things that it captures. Resiliency, service learning, empathy, decision making, stress management, All of these things are areas that we're learning about and looking for ways that we can do a better job of helping meet the needs of our students. We also have our counselors participate in specific trainings. All of our counselors participated in the Critical Issues in Alabama Schools Conference, the annual state conference for counselors, the mental health first aid training and certification. We had some participate. We're going to have another opportunity shortly to be able to provide that training and certification to more employees. And then also Sanford, they came in and they worked with our counselors on the unique needs of gifted and advanced learners. And we have our elementary, middle, and high school counselors. They do so much more than this, but our elementary counselors, they really focus on self-awareness, self-esteem, and positive interpersonal relationships. Our middle school counselors, they focus more on academic, career, and those personal social goals. And then our high school counselors, they focus on career planning, problem solving, social and emotional health, academic success, financial aid, and post-secondary advising. We also have a district social worker. Our district social worker, she collaborates with teachers, staff, our counselors, to make sure that we're connecting students and families to the resources we have in the community. Our partnerships, Help the Hills Coalition, Bradford Health Services, and this is the one that I'm excited about this year. We've been able to extend some of our partnership with them, and so now we can offer free assessments for students who have been identified as using drugs when we do our drug testing. But also with our, we've always had a punitive plan for our students, our students who test positive for drugs. But now through our partnership with Bradford, not only are we providing that punitive piece, but we're also able to support them and their family through free education that Bradford is coming in and providing. So whereas we have the responsibility to provide that consequence, we have the privilege of also helping them address and overcome that issue before it reaches a point where there's to no return. So we're really excited about our extended partnership with Bradford. Impact Family Counseling, we partner with them. They provide counseling for students at Vision, group counseling, and intensive one-on-one counseling. That counseling that's needed, that's beyond the realm of the school counselor. We can contract with them to come in and do that in-depth one-on-one counseling. If those are our priorities, we have to have aligned funding. So we make sure that our funding is supporting what we say our priorities are. So with Title II, we pay for registration and subs for teachers to participate in the Powerful Conversations Network. Through our Title III funds, that's going to allow us to be able to offer a parent night. We've had parent nights in the past, but I'm real excited about the EL parent night that's coming up. There are some great plans for not only the translation services, but to bring some other community resources in on that night while we're providing the translation services so that it could be a one-stop shop. So we're really excited about that. Title IV is paying for the Hope Institute. They are providing the contracts for Impact Family Counseling and also our BCBA contracts. And our State At-Risk Fund is also providing the board certified behavior analysts to come in and help us with those behaviors that really we need additional support to address. And then our High Hopes grant is allowing us to purchase an online curriculum for social and emotional learning for our secondary students. And Senator Wagner, we're thankful you're here with us tonight. Through legislative funds, he graciously provided us with $40,000. And so that is really allowing us to extend what we're able to do in goal number 2. So thank you so much for your generous donation. It will allow us to purchase the Safe Schools Alert, which will, all students across the district will be able to notify us if they have been bullied or any other thing that may serve as a safety concern. Also, it's going to allow us to extend that mental health first aid training. So we have a few counselors with that training and certification, but because of your generous donation, we're going to be able to offer that training on February the 14th for more employees to be able to benefit from that training, which will empower them and help us to better know how to meet the needs of our students. So thank you again.
Thank you, Senator Wagner.
And finally, I've talked to you a lot tonight. Again, we are doing so much with goal number 2. It's really hard to capture it all in just a few minutes in a board meeting, but I really am proud of the work that we're doing in goal number 2. But I think that the best way to end goal number 2 is to hear from the students. And so Alicia graciously videoed a couple of her students who spoke this past week at the PTO Council. They did a fabulous job, and that's how I would like to leave you tonight with goal number 2. Well, I may have to let's see. It was supposed to play when I clicked the last slide.
Sure would mess it up.
I'm sure that,
We've got a trained technology guru in this room.
I gotta tell my family too, I just don't know those guys.
Yeah.
So I can't do it.
I wasn't talking about you. I wasn't talking about you.
I college in the 5th grade. Hi, I'm Emma May. I will tell you today about 2 important character education programs that we have at Cava Heights. The first one is the Big 3, which we learn in every grade. The Big 3 is be safe, be respectful, and be our best. All of these things are vital to have a well-organized school. I like that these are guidelines for our behavior rather than strict rules. I also like that people get recognized for doing the right things, even when they don't really need to get recognized. It's good that we get told that we're doing something right instead of doing something wrong. The second character education program we have at Cahaba Heights is Heights Huddle, which is like a meeting for the class. We do these around the carpet in my class and not at our desks. In Heights Huddle, we hear announcements that might change our regular daily routine. Sometimes there is a spotlight student in our class which tells us about themselves, like their favorite food, their pets, their family members, and other interesting facts. I feel like this helps us learn more about each other and feel comfortable with our fellow students. In Heights Huddle, we also practice greeting other people, introducing people to each other, and inviting people into conversations. This helps us practice life skills and build confidence. Heights Huddle also helps us include other people, even in the hall or at lunch, so we don't just walk by them without acknowledging them. Thanks for taking the time to learn about the Big 3 in Heights Huddle. I hope you can share these with the kids at your school too.
Alright, thank you for teaching me about the Big 3. I'm going to talk about Newmark and the senior citizens. Well, most of my friends are 10, and one of my best friends, Mr. J. He's like 90-something. I met him through a partnership the school is with the Senior Citizen Center, Newmark. The teachers take 8 students every Wednesday to go to Newmark. Mr. J has taught me about the many wars he's fought in, as well as how to be a tough competitor in gin rummy. The days I look forward to the most are the days spent with people generations older. Mr. Jake has inspired me to learn about the past and given me the desire to one day serve my country. Thank you for listening. Heights Heroes,
We're here to save the day.
one act of kindness at a time.
Fourth, they're good. So I have some coworkers that need to be in the Heights Huddle and learn how to invite people into conversation. Just say it.
Questions, board comments?
That's great.
I want to tell you that the design team that Dr. Rainey mentioned earlier, Dr. Baker actually served on this fall, and we zeroed in on the picture of success as it relates to mental health. And we recognize as a system that there are gaps, and there are, that exist with what we're doing in Goal 2. We know what's there in particular. And so out of that group came recommendations for things that we could do as it relates to staffing and professional growth. All of those things require us to look at how we prioritize the budget. So that's an exercise we'll be continuing into the next semester as well. But there are many wonderful things happening with that goal. But our chief aim is to make sure we up the ante, as Dr. Rainey said, and keep moving us in the right way to best support our kids. So appreciate that.
And like she said, the process matters, and the process leading up to it, we heard from the students that were involved in the strategic planning process around like stress and pressure and all that kind of stuff. And some of the teachers even commented that they were equipped to be teachers, but not necessarily equipped necessarily sometimes to be that mental health professional. That's the first point of contact. So I really appreciate the work that we're doing around this particular topic.
It is. It's without question, I think, a defining issue in public education right now. Is how we respond appropriately. So thank you, Dr. Rainey. Appreciate it.
That brings us to public comment. If anyone has any comments, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. So please limit your comments to agenda items. Anyone? All right. There being none, we are adjourned.